Hello everyone, it's your buddy Jayrassic, and I'm hoping that you are having the best day of your entire life today. And today is a great day because we are going to revisit the Omaha Zoo, as it's been about a week or so since we last had an episode here, so I do apologize here. I just have so many projects going on right now, it's not even funny. Of course, you guys saw the first episode of Ray's Wild Safari, which is a coalition with my daughter for the first time I'm playing Planet Zoo, and my son JT Gamer is also going to be joining us here in the next episode or so, as we are going to be doing a brand new series with him. He finally decided to drink the Kool-Aid and join the Planet Zoo community, so I'm really excited to teach him a few things. Yeah, nonetheless, he's already got some ideas of what he wants to do with his zoo. And we'll be getting that here on the channel here shortly. So without further ado, the last time we left off the Omaha Zoo, we went ahead and showed a little bit of the gift shop and so forth, just kind of doing the exterior portion and whatnot. I did a lot of changing of things up in the last from the last episode, as there was quite a few things that needed to be changed that I didn't catch right on until after reviewing that footage, and also unfortunately while doing Ray's Safari, we accidentally oversaved the last Omaha Zoo. So good thing for autosave though, so that did get autosaved, and for whatever reason it worked out just fine. So we didn't lose much. We just lost a little bit of the gift shop stuff, so it wasn't too horrible. But at the same token, it's still a bit disheartening because we're like, oh, geez, here we go. And we had all this great stuff done with the Omaha Zoo, and then lo and behold, well, we didn't have it done. So, as you can see, as you probably saw between the last video and this one, there's kind of some of the same footage being used. Not a lot, to be honest, but just to kind of give context of this particular build. But as you can see, I'm doing a different type of construct, which is basically building from the ground up instead of like doing the full enclosure and everything first. Here you can see we are starting the build of the Lozier IMAX theater. Now again, I've never been in the IMAX theater, so it's very I'm kind of going off of speculation, to be honest, but I think it still worked out pretty nice. I used the animal talks to create the actual bleachers in a sense, and then just kind of stacked them up on top of each other by using a 2 meter path at the top, or 3 meter, and then we just kind of recolored them. I did not know they were flexi colored till doing this video, or doing this build, so that's kind of a new thing. So if you don't know that it's flexi color, hey, it is. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So, and honestly, I probably could have left it this way. I mean, this right here looks pretty decent, but of course I always want to go the extra mile, and I went ahead and decided to go ahead and use Nicholas Lion Rider's African Safari mod, and use his alligator skin recliners, or seats, I guess, are recliners, and or lazy boys, there we go, and went ahead and put those as theater seats, and I think they worked really well. Don't get me wrong, Haribo's theater seats were really cool and really well done, but at the same token, these just seemed a little bit more realistic, and I you know how I am about realism, so I went with those, and I think it worked out really good. Moving on, we went ahead and put in some more walls and everything, as you can see here, and in a little bit you'll see where we actually put in the concession stands and so forth as well. Fortunately, you know, I had to do a lot of moving around with the I didn't anticipate or measure correctly a lot of the front entry or side entryway into the Lozier theater, so you know, I had to do a lot of moving stuff around. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, we got it done. It worked. It really does tie in together pretty well. Of course, and now with the billboards, I mean, the whole everything itself is just absolutely works great with billboards. I mean, I'm so glad we finally got billboards. You know, in the last few updates, I mean, they are just so helpful beyond our comprehension. Is I can't even tell you. But yeah, I went ahead and instead of using in my previous build, I used the Indian rug for the carpet and everything. This time I actually just used some colored concrete. It seemed to work just the same effect, and there's less things that I had to color and whatnot. So I just kind of went that route instead, and just kind of put that throughout the entire build, and so forth. And you'll probably see here in a little while of how we just kind of section it off throughout the entire, and just lay it out, down throughout the entire Lozier theater area. So the next thing that we were doing here is I wanted to create some actual step lights. I mean, even though they were in the bleachers themselves, I just kind of want to continue on with that. And I was so debating between red and blue. Honestly, looking back, I probably should have went with blue, but red is one of my favorite colors. Blue is like my second favorite. So nonetheless, I just really wanted to put some red in there. And honestly, when I do go to Omaha Zoo later this summer, I'm going to finally actually take a look into the IMAX theater and be like, all right, this is what's up, and tell them, hey, I just want a sneak peek in there, see if they'll let me in there, tell them what I'm doing here, and maybe, just maybe, I might get lucky enough to where they'll let me take some pictures of the theater. Worst case scenario, I will just buy tickets to be able to get in, take some photos, and then leave. I mean, if it's that sad, then so be it. But anyways, moving along, I really just wanted to go ahead and make sure that these theaters, that this theater was going to be able to be used. And after some extensive testing off screen and everything like that, I was able to finally figure a way to do this. And actually, I got the idea from a different YouTuber or a content creator, and that's basically, like I said, using the animal talks to get people to sit there. Well, you still need to have some sort of presentation or animal talk from the people in order for the people to use the bleachers. So I went ahead and put in just a couple exhibits behind the screen, so then that way it looked like people were actually watching the presentation versus the animal talks and everything. But all in all, I think it worked out really well. Since the guests don't have the ability to, they have like Superman capability to be able to see through walls. The wall has no effect on them whatsoever. So they have the theater and everything, and they just move along. I took the front entrance ticket booth section and just kind of moved that ahead in the Lozier theater, just kind of replicated that. These were also some billboards that I had from a previous build of the Lozier theater, and just kind of put that in there. And then of course the same with the concession stand. This is all built in the prior revision of the Omaha Zoo, and I just wanted to make sure that we got that in there because I really like it. It looks very well, and you're going to see it again in another build here in the near future, providing that somebody will actually give over the file. I'm not going to say any names specifically. We'll see. Old Country. Anyways, but yeah, as soon as Old Country decides to give us a file here, we'll be able to continue on with our coalition project, and hopefully, depending on how soon the DLC drops, we may very well release the premiere of our very first episode of that particular build. So I'm looking really excited to that. Gecko Boy and Old Country and I have been tirelessly working on this file, and we're getting along pretty well. But anyways, back to the Omaha Zoo. That's a whole nother project, I tell you what. But getting back to the Omaha Zoo, I definitely wanted to kind of keep an industrial, open, large feel to the theater. So I went ahead and put some beams in there and stuff like that. But I still use I think it's the plastic roofing pieces. They had like some really nice beams underneath that you can kind of use and whatnot. Unfortunately, that's not FlexiColor. They should really have that be FlexiColor, because that would be phenomenal if that particular piece was FlexiColor. But so Frontier, if you're listening, if you could just update the plastic roofing pieces to be to go ahead and be flexi color, that would be awesome. But yeah, anyway, so finally we're just building up the walls around the theater. You know, there's really not much to really discuss on this aspect. I mean, it's a pretty simple build for the most part. But once, you know, it took a while to kind of figure out how to do that, because the problem that I was having is that I was having too much ceiling height. So that's why I kind of put in a secondary roof in here, so that way it kind of makes it a little bit more secluded, because otherwise this roof would have been absolutely huge. I mean, we're talking like all the way, yeah, it would just been overwhelmingly huge and unrealistic whatsoever. Of course, like I said, once I get into the Omaha Zoo again and get into the theater, I will definitely take a look around and see that. I did do a custom ceiling piece, which I'm actually really proud of. I mean, this looks really phenomenal, as you can see here. And all it is some LED tubing and some simple marquee beams, and just kind of kitty corner them, slant them at a 45 degree angle, and it makes some really good ceiling tile. Problem is when you need to move it, like I'm trying to do here, it is a pain in the rear. It is such a pain, it's not even funny. But once you get that figured out, once you're able to actually move it, it works out pretty well. And I've learned my lesson with this secondary ceiling thing is that every single floor level, every single ceiling level, and every single roof needs to be on its own group. I mentioned before, I hate doing separate groups, because when it's time to actually save it as a blueprint or something like that, it's impossible if you have a large piece count to try and save it as a group type blueprint. So nonetheless, I had to go ahead and do it piece by piece. Back into the theater, it looks like I'm jumping all over the place, and then I do that quite often when in my builds. But as you can see, I was in the theater, then I'm back in the gift shop, and back in the theater. I'm just moving back and forth like no other. But here we're like, I'm just basically moving things around again, because it just wasn't really jiving with me really. But you know, I think we finally got it. As you can see here, I'm just again using, trying to get things lined up with the grid and whatnot by using some of wall pieces that I have set off to the side that is on the same grid of the pieces I'm working. And here I'm, you know, basically just creating that front entry way. Since we don't have any glass, actual like really nice glass doors, I kind of make my own. But you know, and it works out pretty decent. Unfortunately, I didn't really count on. I was kind of looking more for exterior wise versus, you know, interior, and those pieces that I was using kind of had, you know, made it look a little cheesy from the inside. So that's one thing I'm going to have to change eventually here, is so forth, by making sure that we use the exterior pieces and so forth that are actually transparent. As you can see, I did actually finally update those doors, so then that way it looks like a complete walkthrough. So nonetheless, there's a lot of moving around of pieces and everything like that, and after looking through some other photos and everything like that, especially when it came down to doing the gift shop, I realized that back in 2000, it must have been like 2014, when they modeled the gift shop area. Before, you used to come in the gift shop and you hang a right and you could go into the theater section. Now they have partitioned that off, and it's just a wall, and they do not let guests go from the gift shop to the theater section. And I'm thinking probably the reason why they were doing that is because I think a lot of people were coming in through the exit of the gift shop, coming through the gift shop and everything, doing their shopping or whatever, and then they kind of go through the theater and bypass the whole ticket booth section area, and we're able to get into the zoo basically for free. So they must have noticed that and took some different approach to kind of prevent or limit that. So in order to go through, you actually have to go through. If you do come through the exit, even though those doors are one way and only open one way, but if you do go through the exit and try to get back into the zoo, you have to go through the gift shop center, and then there's like this information booth right by that entryway into the gift shop. And when you're going out through those doors, there's some people that will be there, be like, oh, do you have your ticket, or something like that, or do you have a stamp in order to get back into the main entry plaza area of the zoo. So that's kind of interesting on that avenue, that they that they did realize there was a problem when it came to ticket sales, and people just kind of scared through, and they're really on top of it now. So I mean, hey, good for you, Omaha Zoo. But yeah, anyways, these speakers here that you're seeing, these are of my own making. They're actually inspired by Haribo with his theater cinema pack. So I kind of took his same idea. I did a little bit, I started from scratch, just kind of look what he did. I just started from scratch and kind of did it a little bit different with the speaker mounts and so forth. So then it kind of gave it a more of an older retro look, I guess you could say. But yeah, and then of course it came down to the projector, to the projection room itself, which we kind of showed a little bit of the previous a sneak peek in the previous video. This is again just a blueprint I already have on the workshop that I did a long time ago. It's what I did here is I actually modified my own blueprint to actually have the billboards showing on there, so whatever's showing on the main screen will also show on the monitor screens as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of additional realism. So that's one thing that I thought was pretty cool looking, and you know, and like I said, it's just the small details like that that really help make your build. And so that's exactly what I did. I just was followed through on the small details. Now, for whatever reason, this build, the last one, the projector was really bright, and this one, for whatever reason, wasn't. So I wanted to try and figure out how to replicate that. And I think the reason being is because before I kind of had a bunch of, the screen itself wasn't a billboard, and now it is. But so I wanted to try to go ahead and remake that atmospheric feel of that blue haze coming from the entire room. And it was really difficult. So, you know, I tried using some different lighting and stuff like that just to kind of project like that blue is coming from the projector itself. And it was kind of getting a bit difficult. So what I did is I knew I had to put in lighting. So I went and put in some lighting anyways, but I kind of changed it to a bluish lighting anyways. So then I kind of cast a blue hue over the entire room. I know it's kind of odd looking. I probably should have just went with a dark yellow or something like that. So then I went up, but you know, I think it honestly looks kind of cool in the long run. But yeah, so here we are, just about finishing up on the build of the theater. There we go. Wow, I can't talk. So just finishing up on a few touches of the projector room. You know, I did actually move stuff around. Like I said earlier, I was moving a lot of stuff around, trying to make things work with the limited amount of space that I wanted to allot myself with. And eventually what happened is I kind of deleted this area and redid it off screen. So when we go through the walkthrough, you'll see that it's a little bit different. So after getting the speakers there and everything, then we basically are done with this portion of the build, and we're going to go right into the B-roll here in just a few seconds here. So without further ado, here we go. All right,
hey,
and
everyone.
here we
Thanks
are
so much for watching.
with
If you
the
like
live
this video,
walkthrough.
make sure you smash that like button.
I tell you what,
leave a comment down
I
below.
love the way
And if you're new
that
to the
this is
channel,
turning out. I mean, the
make sure you
foliage is
subscribe.
just absolutely
That way you
gorgeous.
keep up to date with all the content that I release on a weekly basis.
Whole area
You
back
can
here
also
is
follow
just
me on Twitch,
working
Twitter,
just
Steam,
wonderfully. I mean,
Discord,
I can't.
as well as Facebook.
I mean, the Rosenblatt Theater
next
is
time,
looking so
build,
beautiful. It's not even
play,
funny. So,
and enjoy.
all right, moving on. Let's go back to where we were. And a few different things that I didn't show on camera here before. I think I may have showed this in the last episode, but I'll show it again. Our guest service area is practically finished here. Looking very nice. And then we come around here. I got to kind of work on a little bit of the foliage and whatnot here. Oh, I got some floating lights. Here's the gift shop area. This would actually be the exit. We're coming through the exit like I mentioned earlier. So basically the area that the area that everyone would come in is right through here, and then nonetheless, when it would go ahead, when people would kind of go through this, and then they would basically go through this area and come through this area over here. So nonetheless, it's been changed a lot. Like I said, they have this little info desk right here, and these are the doors that I talked about that I got to change, but then they come through here. So now what they do is I kind of stop you right here, and they'll be like that. So as you can see, I've been doing a lot of different things here with this area. It's a little bit different than what we had on camera, but that's fine, because like I said, I did a lot of changes around. I gotta make that all messy again. But here I went ahead and put in the little shop counters here. So then when we do get the actual gift shop counters, those are going to go in here. I think I may, in the meantime, maybe put just some gift shops back in this area over here. So then it looks like people are like buying stuff off the shelves or something, or picking up stuff off the shelf. I don't know. Well, I'll think of something. I haven't quite decided yet. So, and then we'll kind of come around, and as we come around the corner, you will see our next episode. That's right, I redid the entire Omaha Desert Dome, and it looks freaking phenomenal and way better than ever before. But yeah, anyways, moving through. Here we coming through with the front entryway of the Lozier. Very quaint and easy, I guess. You know, I may actually move this back just a little bit more, but I'm gonna put some bathrooms back here, maybe, just to, or just have this as a staff area. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. But yeah, then moving on, we go into the concession stand area, and I love the way that this concession stand area look. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and bring down bring it down just a little darker here, shall we? Get us in the mood. Bow chicka bow wow. All right, there we go. Oh, there we go. All right, so yeah, I really like how this turned out. It's very quaint and very subtle. It has that red carpet vibe for theaters, as the Lozier IMAX theater. I thought time and time again maybe I'll do a billboard to replace that, and actually see if I can find signage of the Lozier theater. But I mean, they don't really have any signage; it's just words. And then that comes into, and it just the theater here, and here's a weenie, I guess you could call it. The big screen is the weenie, and that brings us into the theater itself. And again, like I said, I use blue lighting to kind of replace that. What I may do is I actually may just change all these, the lighting to like maybe a dull gray or yellow or something like that, and then maybe just put some blue lighting in the back, like stadium lighting or something like that. And I didn't even think about that till now, to be honest. But yeah, anyways, and then of course our nice little speakers here. So we got some 5.1 surround sound, or 6.1 actually, I guess you could call it, because we got 3 per side and then 1.1 for the lower level. So that's technically 6.1. And then that kind of brings us up here. We're not going to go in the basement, but this is kind of our work in progress up here. And this will lead us over to the projection theater area, which goes right down in there. And like I said, I did a lot of redoing it on camera, so there's a lot of things on here that's not showing. But like I said, you can see the bones of it in a sense. Oh, we got some phasing. I gotta fix that. Yeah, so as you can see, it's showing exactly the same thing that's out there. So yeah, so and then we'll just phase out here. And like I said, what I did to fix to make it so that people sit actually watch the movies is we have our little animal talks right down here, and then a boa constrictor right there. So so the animal talks will come here, the educator will come here, and I'll be preaching to all these people out here when they're seated. Like I said, there's a couple of them that will glitch through the seats, so they're like sitting right in the center and stuff like that. But other than that, I think it worked out really, really well. If anything, aesthetically, it looks wonderful. So there you have it. That's basically the gist of everything that we have for today. And, you know, I want to thank you all so much for watching. And, of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, do so. So then you can stay up to date with everything that we have in the Omaha Zoo. And next week's episode, we're going to show how we constructed this massive beast. I'm looking forward to showing that off here. Yeah, I think it's just absolutely working out really great. This Desert Dome is going to be a several part series. So nonetheless, with that being said, we will go ahead and be starting off with the build of itself, and then we'll be starting to show out the Kingdom of the Night section, and moving our way up through the levels into the cave section, and then onto the main level, and eventually the final backstage stuff area, as we're building all that stuff. So till next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed, do so now. Otherwise, like this video, as it shows me that I'm doing a great job and you're enjoying the content. So as always, I love you guys. Until next time, build, play, and enjoy. This is Jayrassic signing out. Goodbye, everyone.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. That way you keep up to date with all the content that I release on a weekly basis. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Discord, as well as Facebook. Till next time, build, play, and enjoy.